growing anger at the economic and social crisis in Nigeria. There is widespread poverty leading to protests across the country. Kidnapping of school children has become large-scale and regular. It looks as if there is a total collapse of trust in government because of these multiple and endemic crises. Leading politicians and clerics of all faiths have expressed concern about the collapse of livelihood and the rise of hopelessness in the country. Government is flip-flopping in its policies to address these crises. Is government? What should be done to restore hope and find solutions to these problems? How do we re-establish faith and trust in government? And how do we reset the nation? Where do we start from? Let's have a chat with Associate Professor of Law, Dr. Sam Amadi, who is the Director of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought, as well as a RISE analyst. Where do we really start from? I mean, the advocates of President Bola Tinubu's administration, even through the Vice President, is saying, be patient, be patient. The President has lofty ideas for you Nigerians. How long will it take Nigerians to start reaping the dividends of democracy?
I mean, there are obviously some of these problems will need some time to solve. But again, there are quick wins and there are things that have to be done that, you know, kind of increase hope and trust in the government. I mean, just think around the so-called, this issue of the custom impounded goods and the way the president says, give them back. I mean, that's good because you're trying to say, let's feed the people. Yeah, we may have issues with criminality. We could have violation of laws and prosecution and burning of distance. But that action the president took is good because it builds back to let the people eat.
It's humanist.
It's humanist. It's populist, if you like. It's also addressing the crisis. But again, I think the first thing is this. The government has to acknowledge that we're in a difficult time now. The most difficult thing is not just the poverty, is the lack of trust. The total. People can be poor, face difficulties, and believe that somehow things get better. Nigerians have come to the point where they have no confidence that government can fix this. So you see it in the language people use, you see it in the protests, you see it even among political leaders who continuously, you know, the other day, Tabua went to see the president, everywhere they meet, the conversation is around, things are getting bad. So first, we need to see the presidency, you know, and the National Assembly take this crisis as a matter of priority. And what shows first will be, you know, breaking down the barriers of partisanship. That's number one. I think it might be a good thing to see the president call a big meeting of multi-party stakeholders, including the ruling party, the PDP, the Labour Party, and maybe one or two of the smaller parties. And that convocation, you know, speak to the leaders. It might be a good thing to have the president have a meeting with diverse people, youths, young people, farmers, you know, representatives. So you need to first transcend partisanship because you need to sow hope and trust before we get a result. I mean, overnight, we're not going to suddenly solve the forex crisis, solve the power sector crisis. We're not going to have insecurity, you know, crash it overnight. But we can sow back hope, trust in government. And that comes with a president that expands himself bigger than the confines of the politics that led to the election and the politics ever since. So I want to see the president sit in a meeting with Atiku Abubakar, for example, with P2B, for example, with other leaders, with Muslim Christian leaders, with youth social groups, with the obedience, with the Bardos, with the whatever they call them, and articulate that need that, look, we are in a big trouble, we can get out of it. But what we ask of you, we're not saying come and support us, we are saying, can we re-establish trust that we want to work together to solve this problem? It signals to the people that people in the villa and in the National Assembly actually understand where we are. You see, the concept of public leadership is different from governance. Public leadership is like public diplomacy. It's about winning hearts and minds.
Why are we not deploying the American system of the town hall meeting and system.
part
I
of-
tried to
yeah,
introduce
yeah,
it
yeah.
in 1999 to some state governments. It was hijacked after 2 or 3 tries. They left. I think it was only Fashola that used it in Lagos State, and it worked. You know, meeting the people, telling them these are the things that we are doing. These are the contracts
level
we
up with
have.
them,
Yeah.
and being honest with them. And the point you made is very important. You see, first you have to come with a different concept of governance, not as conquering. You know, the partisan spirit is that, oh, we conquered in 2023. We could actually conquer the people. We could actually buy them off. We could actually imprison some, threaten them. The president needs to first sit back and say, look, this is a new game now, governance. There is deep cynicism, distrust of government. I mean, the first hindrance to recovery is that people have lost faith.
Why are they losing faith? Is it because
Yeah.
of insecurity, the poverty, or the corruption even in government?
They are losing faith first because they see carelessness, total irresponsibility among the ruling elite. Look at the incident that happened with the unfortunate burial of Dr. Herbert Uwigwe. Now,
Yeah.
what is trending is, how can our politicians not know the moment? How can they not be serious for a moment? So the populace see the leaders as totally unserious, not concerned, not really rolling their sleeve and working for us. So the first thing that has to change
But we keep praying for
is that
them.
perception.
We are
Well,
asked to pray for them.
we are asked to, but do you know what they pray for? You know, it has come to a point where people are no longer praying. I mean, the formality of prayer may happen. The chief priest, the imam, the pastor can call for prayer, but the faithfuls are not praying. So we have come to the low level, the nadir of helplessness and hopelessness. You have to reignite hope in governance. That's the key point. And like you said, town halls, meet people at the various. But again, expand yourself to say, look, this is the father of the nation. This is a guy who really cares about what's going on, not just as propaganda or rhetoric, not as tweet, but real time. And what shows us first? The kind of guys he's meeting, the people he's talking to, even his officials. Now, if the president uses crisis and reset his government, take out some of these officials, put in the right kind of guy, he signals to the Nigerian people that this president actually wants to get it right. You will see shift in public perception. You will see some trust in government. For me, what pains me is that it's not possible for us to exit this economic crisis without first re-establishing trust in government. You see, government is esoteric. It's the people and the leaders working together. You can't just get insecurity under wraps if you do not create a community support base. You can't do with economic crisis if the people do not see, look, we have a challenge to meet, we're going to double our effort, we're going to be more productive, we're going to grow more food. You can't, deal with the hunger crisis except there's a messaging to the people, go back to the land, go back to farming. And the governors themselves lead on that. And the governors are putting back foot on the farms. And the governors are creating initiatives that tell people, let's get back to farming. Let's get back to helping deal with this urgent crisis of hunger. So I think that the first thing we need to say at this point is we must have to admit that we are in a dangerous spot right now. And partisan politics will not cut it. We need to save the country. And that's why economic growth globally, whether it's in Russia, Taiwan, goes with nationalism. And that's why we talk about national innovation system. A leader see the people and create the spirit of national interest and survival. And that fits into quest for development. What's missing in Nigeria is that sense of nationalism is not there. And crisis is the best opportunity to turn this around. So if the president expands himself, move away from the constraint and the confine of partisanship, and begin to talk to different people beyond the people who were his campaign, and begin to make different appointments that reflect a recognition of the urgency of solving problem, you will see ramping up of public trust, and I think in that we'll get our way out of the crisis. Right now, teachers are very bad, and it's made worse because people don't have confidence. Hopelessness means we don't even expect government to deliver. And so things are bad, we suck back into despair, into cynicism and skepticism, because we don't even think that public officials really care, or even they have no clue. But we need to make people believe that they care. And you do that not by propaganda, but by town halls, engagement, having new people, new faces.
Practical outreaches.
And people believe the messenger. Say, look, these guys are believable.
Absolutely.
And we can keep to the message.
Thank you very much. I'm sure those in leadership position are listening.
By the grace of God.
And they just may take a cue from Nigeria as a praying nation. Thank you very much, Associate Professor of Law, Sam Amadi, for coming on Newsnight.